Welcome to Mamatoosa, Conversations with a Midwife. I'm your host, Atoosa Benji. A quick note before today's episode. This show talks about birth, life, death, and all the complexities in between. My goal is always to share stories that leave you feeling empowered, but please know that some topics may be challenging or deeply moving. Also, while I'm an experienced midwife, I'm not your midwife, and the information on this podcast is not intended to be medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider when considering what is best for you as an individual. Now, without further ado, I hope you enjoy the show. Hey everyone, Mamatoosa here. I'm so excited to have you on for Alexis Kutscher's episode. She's fantastic. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's an entrepreneur, and she had the most incredible birth story. Planned home birth. Plans changed. There was a pivot. She had polyhydramnios, which is a condition of pregnancy where she just had a lot of amniotic fluid. The decision to have a scheduled C-section and a baby who had to be in the NICU for some extra support. I really think you're going to love her story. If you want to stay in touch, check me out on Instagram or Substack. Now, without further ado, here's my interview with the one and only Alexis Kutscher. Alexis, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you.
What an honor it is to be here.
I'm stoked. This is so full circle for me.
It's full circle for me. Like through my pregnancy, now being a mama, like can call you a friend and a mentor. And it's just been a journey. And you've been a part of our whole journey.
I'm honored. Tell everyone how we know each other.
So we met through, you were my midwife, and then also ended up kind of being my doula for my birth.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You ended up being my doula because we had a 180 on the birth plan, but that was okay. And yeah, I came for midwifery care through Los Angeles Midwives.
With Naomi Drucker.
With Naomi. And we just hit it off right away the second we met. I took your breastfeeding course, and then me and my husband did our birthing class with you, which was amazing. And she came to us, you came to our house, taught us everything we needed to know about birth, which to this day, my husband's like, Atoosa taught me so much. Like, I had no idea. I thought I knew about birth. He's like, I didn't know anything. And he was like, every time you left our house, he would be like, amniotic fluid is pee? Like, what? That's crazy. Like, didn't know that. And like, obviously with my whole story, that was a big part of my story. It's a big part of my story. So like, he was like,
the prologue.
He was like, why is our baby peeing so much? And then he was like, yeah, Atoosa taught me that. He would tell everyone, Atoosa taught me that. And I'm like, she did.
That is so sweet. You know, as much as I love clinic work, which I love, but the education piece, and clinic work has education involved too as a midwife, but I love the education piece because there's something about the awe of someone's face where they're like, oh. And it's so fulfilling.
I bet. I mean, for us on the receiving end, like you would leave and we would be like, what? And like, that's crazy. Like, we didn't know that. And like, just the time that you spent with us, like, seriously, thank you. I know I told you 1,000 times, but like, we are so grateful for you. Seriously. Like, you taught our family so much and like, you know, ended up being there for us for the birth, which was a C-section, but you were there. You ended up being my doula. And like, you honestly got me through that day. And you visit us in the NICU and like, made us matzo ball soup, and like seriously, like I'm gonna get emotional because like you were so amazing, and like I may get choked up when we're just getting started.
I'm getting choked up. I can't even find my words to go on with the podcast. You're gonna make me cry.
Even my sister was like, I told her, I'm like, yeah, I'm going on Atoosa's podcast, and she was like, oh my God, she is a queen. Like, I love her. Give her my best. Like, she was so amazing throughout the whole process for you, and like just so much love from my family for you. Seriously.
That is so sweet. Thank you. The love is reciprocated. I just adore you. And I'm just really inspired by your positivity, by your energy, by your willingness to learn, and by your excitement of every single stage that you went through, some of them easier than others, was always filled with awe and was always filled with, this isn't plan A, but there's a reason, and we're going to go through it with the biggest possible amount of light.
Yeah.
And I think that just made for your journey, your postpartum period, your healing,
Yeah.
your bonding with your baby, and who you are with your amazing husband on the planet.
Yeah, I
Really.
think like truly, like it sounds so cliche, but like the power of positivity is like so strong. And like
100%.
I think having you and Naomi like to help us through the changes and navigate like all the different, you know, obviously birth is so unexpected, and something you told us that like really stuck with me and my husband Chad, like you said the baby chooses their journey, and he decides how he's going to come into this world. And I think that is just something we really held on to throughout the whole process. And even afterwards, it's like, this is his story. And like, we just trusted the process. We trusted the team. We had you there with us. We had Abby there with us. And like, it was just like, whatever, this is a part of his story. And, you know, now we have a beautiful baby boy, and he's doing amazing.
Yeah,
he's doing so good.
Yeah, you do. And nothing that I say to my students or my clients is ever, very little is original. Where I learned that from was another midwife who told me birth is 80% baby and 20% mommy. And as midwives, we also look through things from the spiritual lens also. It is his soul coming in.
It really is.
So he's going to pick who he wants to be there, when he wants it to be, how he wants it to be. And a lot of times that's not according to the plan we had in month 7 or month 8.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden at 38 weeks, he was like
37.
He was like, I actually have
He
a little
wanted
detour.
he wanted his debut with bright lights. He's like his mom. He's extra. He's like, I want to make my debut like under the spotlight. I want everyone to know exactly when I'm coming. And he did. He did.
And he came in the way he chose to come in. And I think there's a lot of honor to that. And I also think the way that you went through picking your birth team and choosing who you wanted there and rolling with who was available and what was happening. There was a lot going on that day. Tell me what happened at 37 weeks or sooner if you think
so when was it? I think it was like 32 is when we were like, okay, I think baby's going to come early. We're measuring pretty big. That's when I went and saw like the specialist. You guys sent me to, I was just looking very, very pregnant. I mean, I was very pregnant. Even before then, actually, I was very pregnant. And maybe it was
very active.
Very active.
Dancing till...
literally in dance class, shaking butt, heels and all, having a great time. I honestly like moved my body, worked out up until the day I had him. Like it felt good. I felt comfortable. I never had like crazy swelling or anything, which I was so fortunate. Obviously was very, I say obviously, but I was very sick my entire pregnancy. I threw up the whole pregnancy, but I was like, you know what, this isn't going to define me. Like, this is just a part of my story. And, he's healthy. You guys made me feel so confident and like knowing he was good and growing healthy. Why grow a baby in 40 plus weeks when you can grow one at 8.5 pounds at 37 weeks? So yeah, I think it was a little before 30 weeks. We were like, okay, we're going to get the scan. We went in, they were like, baby's measuring OOR. And we're like, what is OOR? And they're like, out of range. And we're like, sick. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, your baby's massive. And I'm like, okay. Like, so they're like,
what does that mean exactly?
What does that mean? I remember going to like Little Bellies, a little like ultrasound clinic. And with my friend that just found out she was pregnant, we wanted to like do it together. And they were like, so your due date's showing 6 weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm not due. This was like end of December. I was like, I'm doing February. Like, what? They're like, did you get your date wrong? I'm like, no. But yeah, obviously had a ton of amniotic fluid. Yeah. Ended up finding out I had severe polyhydramnios, but was just tons of amniotic fluid. Didn't have gestational diabetes. Felt good. Everything was great. Like, I was like, I don't feel like anything's wrong. And you guys made me feel so comfortable. You're like, nothing's necessarily wrong. We're just trying to prevent something going wrong if your water breaks and you have a cord prolapse and the cord comes out. And I think that was the hardest thing to like wrap my mind around, because I was like, but I feel good, I look cute, I'm going to class with my big old belly hanging out, like having a great time. And I remember like a week before I had the C-section, my husband plays in like a baseball, like adult league, and he had like a tournament in Long Beach, and my best friends were over at the house and they were like, where's Chad? And I was like, he's at a baseball tournament. And they were like, Lex, like, you could go into labor at like any day. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, no, it's fine. And they were like, that's like really far. Like if your water breaks, like he's probably not going to make it in time. Yeah. And then I had to have this like, maybe we've been too optimistic and positive. Maybe we need to like be a little more serious.
A little more risk averse.
Yeah, maybe like just take it a little bit more seriously. So I like remember calling him and was like, I'm so sorry, babe. Like we got to talk when you come home. And he had just picked up like all the jerseys for his team and like was so excited for his tournament. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you should go the next 2 days. Like, I just think you should be close to home. Like, we should not stay. We should stay close to Cedars, stay close to home because God forbid my water breaks. You know, like it could, you know, pull the cord out and things could escalate really quickly, and we just want to avoid that. But up until that point, like you know, you guys know you were taking care of me. Like I felt great. I felt great till the very end. So it was hard to wrap my head around like, oh no, this is like actually changing the plan like 180. And then it went from, you know, planning a home birth with you guys to, okay, maybe we do it at, you know, the hospital to be safe in a controlled setting, just with how much amniotic fluid, you know, if we had a cord prolapse. And then it went from like, oh no, we're going to evict this guy at 37 weeks. Like I remember I called you like, oh my God, we're having the baby tomorrow.
Yeah, it's happening.
And Naomi was like the 1 week Naomi was traveling. And she told me about that like
at the beginning when you signed
up at 6 weeks. So I was like, oh my God, none of us thought, you know, most of the time with what we were planning, it's 40 plus weeks, you know, especially for your first baby boy. Yeah. So, but it was like a whirlwind. And I feel like we just kind of went with the punches and how they got thrown. And, you know, we had that like quick minute, you know, I think I called you that day when we like decided like, okay, we're not going to be able to do the home birth. I was like really bummed, and I like gave myself 10 minutes on the drive home from our ultrasound, and I was like crying, and my husband's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm just like mourning what I thought it was gonna be, but like I'm just giving myself a quick second to like process it. And then the second we got home, we talked on the phone. We're like, great, new plan. We talked to Naomi made me feel great too. Like, here's a new plan. We're either gonna like do it at Cedars, we can still, you know, try for, you know, a natural labor, or we might plan a C-section. And I feel like you guys helped me stay so positive throughout the whole experience too, because you just were so clear about knowing what my options were, knowing what was going on with my body, helping me really understand what was happening. And I think you guys are the reason why I stayed like so calm through the whole process, because you guys educated me and my husband to make informed decisions with, you know, we ended up bringing in Dr. NICU was who performed the C-section, and was great. Looks amazing, honestly. Like did such a good job. Was literally like saw him 2 weeks postpartum and was like working out. He was like, you're good to work out. Like you're recovering great. And I was like, great. But like you guys gave us all the things we needed to like really understand what was happening. So like even that day when we did have the C-section, like you helped kind of calm me down with the whole. I think the only thing I was like really hung up on was like I wanted that immediate skin to skin with my baby. You know, I was like, that was the only hill I was going to die on. I'm like, I'm going to die on this hill. Yeah. Like I'm not giving, you know, my unmedicated home birth. I'm, you know, doing a planned C-section. And I just remember that morning, 5 a.m., you and Abby met us at the hospital. Literally get like goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah,
like,
Abby is one of the midwives who also has privileges at Cedars. And she was there because Naomi was out of town.
Yeah. And
the two of us sort of took on more of a support role as Dr. NICU became the primary provider at that moment. And I think what was so awesome was that the vibe was so positive. We knew that it wasn't plan A, so we were still holding plan A for you and trying to get as close to plan A as possible with keeping the lights low and talking in low voices and being excited and putting on music. Do you remember we put on music? We did a little like guided meditation.
Yeah.
We brought in the whole team. And I think it's so kind of you to say that it was me and Naomi who made that positivity possible for you. I think constitutionally, you are cellularly positive. That is your way, which makes it just such an honor to watch you go through this, because it was that positivity that radiated and attracted more positivity, because everyone who came in the room was like, wow, what is going on in here? Like, is this a planned home birth that is now a C-section? But we're all just so in it together.
Yeah.
And so knowing that we're here to meet baby boy and to hold Alexis and Chad as they go through this experience.
Yeah.
So thank you. But again, I think it was 95% you all and,
thank you.
A little bit us. Also, just a shout out to Dr. Niku, who has been a guest on the podcast and has always been the epitome of grace and collaboration and so midwife friendly. Part of the practice, part of Naomi's practice is that clients have the option to meet collaborating physicians and establish a relationship should we need them.
Yeah.
And this was one of those examples of we needed that.
And we are so grateful for him as well. Like, he is such a rock star. I literally, like, my last checkup with him, I was like, can I hug you? He was like, yeah. And I was like, took a picture. I was like, I need to post this on your Yelp because you're just amazing. And like my whole, really all of you guys, like my whole birth team was just really like so amazing. And like, I'm so glad I chose that option and I met him ahead of time. And he was he kept it so real with me. And I always tell my husband, like, he gave me that tough love that I needed that morning because I was like, so like, I'm gonna die on this skin to skin contact. Do you remember when he came in the room?
I do.
And he came in the room, he's like, how we feeling? And he was like, we look a little anxious. So I'm like, a little bit, like, I just really want that skin to skin, like right after with my baby. And he was like, listen, and he like got down to my level. He like laying there on the bed right before they took me in, and he's like, if we can and baby's good, like, I'm gonna bring him to you. Like, we just gotta make sure he's good. And if he's at the warmer and he is getting the care he needs, trust me, you want him over there. Like, especially with the C-section.
For sure. And all that water.
Yeah. And now all that amniotic fluid.
All that water.
My son did end up in the NICU.
Yeah.
NICU in the NICU.
Yeah.
But he did end up in the NICU, and just because he needed that extra support to kind of clear that fluid. And I just remember even, being there on the operating table, hearing him cry and seeing him like, all of those worries that I had, like, oh, I'm not going to get that immediate skin to skin, that completely went away. And when he was over at the warmer, my husband was with him the whole time. Abby was with me, which again was so amazing to have her in there with me. I just had like this peace, and like I just had so much trust in my team. And it's crazy because I thought that would give me so much anxiety in that moment, not being able to hold him right away. And I actually didn't end up getting to hold not to hold my son until like 9 p.m. and I had the C-section at 8 a.m. So it was a long time just because I was, I was so big, and they had to give me, Pitocin to really get my uterus to, they were worried about like me and bleeding and stuff. And he was he was with dad up there, but it all ended up and ended up great. And like, we just stayed so positive the whole time because we're like, you know what, like daddy's with him. He's good. I had, my twin sister Brianna with me, which was
so sweet.
A blessing. I had you and Abby there. We just felt so supported and throughout the whole process. And I tell people all the time, because they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, your son ended up in the NICU, for 5 days. I'm like, I'm not. It was a part of his story. We had the best care, the best nurses. Like, you came up there, Naomi came up there, Dr. Niku came up there. Like, our family, my sister was with us, her husband Taylor. Like, we felt so held in a time that could be really scary for a lot of people. Scary. And we just really trusted the team around us, even though it was like a complete 180 from what we originally planned.
Absolutely. I mean, from like water birth to I'll hold my baby right away and we'll snuggle in bed and y'all will go home after 4 hours and visit us when you come back to no, the baby's coming early. So because Naomi is a CNM with privileges at Cedars, when she was out of town, Abigail Prushansky, who is a CNM and also has privileges at Cedars, she was taking the place of Naomi.
Yeah.
So she was also part of our team. And she also came in last minute. It was almost like baby invited all of these last minute guests, like, and you can come and you can come and come to my
birthday party. Let's go. He's like, I'm like my mom. I like to do things really over the top. I want to have all my people there.
Everyone has to be there. Yeah. And I mean, I was invited from before. We just changed venues.
You had an OG
but we were invited. Yeah. And I remember we actually even FaceTimed Naomi in.
We did.
We FaceTimed
right
Naomi
before and right after too. Literally, yeah, she's so
I mean, the continuity of care is really where it's at for better birth experiences. And you'll hear it over and over again, whether it's doula support or midwife support, that continuity of meeting someone in pregnancy, building that relationship, having that rapport, building the trust, them being there for your delivery, and then postpartum care is where the outcomes are better, emotionally and physically. So just to see your original midwife's face on the phone with her cheering for you from a million miles away.
It was so special. Awesome. And even after, like, the second she got off the cruise with her family, she like came up to the NICU with us, and literally right from her vacation, like straight off the boat to us, showed up and was like asking the nurses up there, like, just about our son Arlo, and just getting an update on everything. And like the whole time, you know, like she was checking on us, FaceTime me before the C-section and recovery. You guys just created such a safe space for us. And like throughout the whole process, like I would even tell some of my friends, I'm very blessed. We have a whole tribe of friends having babies right now. And I was like, guys, midwifery care, like, it's where it's at. Like, I always knew I would go the midwife route, but just our appointments, like, even I started care with you guys at 6 weeks, just because I was throwing up so much.
And the most graceful thrower upper ever, you would be like vomiting multiple times. I think you were vomiting, like, I think you vomited right before you came to my breastfeeding class. You were like, I just don't feel, but you were always so like, you would just like, you know, come back in and be like, it's okay. I'm putting it all in perspective. There's a healthy baby growing inside of me.
I just was like, I truly held on to, you were like, from the beginning, you and Naomi were like, it's his story. And I was like, I wanted to be a mom for so long that like me and my husband, we run 3 companies together, and we've always just been so career focused. We've traveled the world together. We've been to 23 countries together, and we've got to do so much amazing, cool stuff. And so when we decided, okay, we're ready to have a baby, we're so ready. Like, we knew exactly what we were signing up for. And I think that's why I've stayed so positive through the process, because it's like we were really, really ready to become parents. And like, we just, even like how we prepped for a baby, like I'm a healthy, almost a crunchy girl. Like we eat so clean. Like, we prepped, like I was like telling my husband, like, no sauna, like here's the workouts that you should be doing, here's the foods you should be eating. I would like see him like have a Gatorade or like a Red Bull, and I'd be like, oh no, you can't have that, like throw it away.
Sperm health, honey. Nope, sperm health.
Nope, we gotta get it right. Gotta keep it healthy. And like, so even from the jump, like we were just like ready, like, you know, and luckily we got pregnant right away, which was such a blessing. And like, just from the jump, like I found out, I took my pregnancy test. I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you that ChatGPT is how I
what?
So I was like, we tried one time for our son, and we were like, okay, we're ready. Like, we're going to start trying. Yeah. So we were like, okay, like it's probably going to take a few months, maybe a year, who knows? And so I really didn't think it would happen, like just right off the jump like that. So I took a pregnancy test, and it was such a faint line. Like, you could barely see it. So I was like, no, it's not. So I threw it away. And then the next day, my sister was there, and she was like, take another one. And he took another one. And I was like, just so like, I don't want to be disappointed. So like, I want to stay this positive. So like, it's not. I don't even think I let it develop, like threw it away. And then it was my best friend's birthday, which is actually today. Crazy. So like full circle, year later.
So you were 4 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I was like feeling really nauseous. I remember going to like for our work, and we have a new office, and the boys were moving furniture around, and I wanted to cry. I was like, why am I want to cry about furniture? This is crazy. And I was like, something's up. So I went home, took it again, and then I put it in ChatGPT. I'm like, am I reading this wrong? Am I pregnant? It was like, congratulations. I know
you took a picture of it and uploaded it.
And I was like, no way, I need confirmation. So I like Instacarted the digital ones. I was like, I need to see a word, like pregnant not pregnant. So I did like 3 in a row, like put them out, and I was like, holy moly, I am. Like, this is crazy. So, but even from the jump, like, we were so excited to get pregnant. And like, right when I got pregnant, I was already throwing up. And it wasn't just like nausea. It was like full blown vomiting. Like, right before they took me into the OR, they put my port in my arm. You were holding my hand. And I was like, I'm going to throw up. And she was like, no, take her seriously. She's gonna throw up. She's not just nauseous. Like, she's gonna
I just got a vision of that. Oh yeah.
And like, you held the bag. You were my girl. I'm so grateful for you. Seriously. Like, You were my girl. Like my husband's over there. Like, I feel like he was just like watching everything like in the room, and it was just like you and me, like in that moment. And you were like, I got you. Like, I'm right here. Seriously.
You make it so easy, honey. You make it so easy. And Chad, I remember him in childbirth class. He asked such great questions. He was just so like, I could see all the little pieces of the puzzle coming together for him. So every time I left, I was like, that was really fun to watch him learn like that, watch you learn like that. And then Naomi and I always, after like one of us saw you, we'd be like, just saw Alexis. Like, because you made us so happy that like we would share with the other midwife, like what was going on. And I mean, it was just this joy. It was joy all the way around amidst not what you're expecting. So let's talk about polyhydramnios. Yeah. So poly means many or much of. Hydra means water. Amnios is something going on with the amniotic. So amniotic fluid. So lots of amniotic fluid water, right? What causes it? And the what we always look at is what's going on with the baby's kidneys. And is there some diabetes going on that we didn't catch? And for you, the baby's kidneys always showed up healthy, and your blood sugars were great because they were tested. And so we knew that there wasn't an anomaly going on with the baby or some sort of diabetes that we weren't catching, diabetes causes blood sugar to go up, which causes the baby's kidneys to have more output. And amniotic fluid is baby pee, right?
Yeah.
So then the babies just have lots and lots and lots of fluid. So are we looking at something going on with the mom? Are we looking at something going on with the baby? And then we have to talk about the actual dangers of polyhydramnios for pregnancy and for labor. Because like we talked about, one thing is, and I remember we talked about in our prenatal visit, right? Because we laid it all out. If that water breaks before labor, then there is so much pressure in that uterus that it could actually push the cord out before the baby comes out. Yeah. That condition is called cord prolapse. Nothing anyone ever wants to see. It's a very small percentage, but a higher percentage if the person has a lot of fluid, just from the pressure. And so what happens is that if there is a scenario where the baby decides to come right after or close to the time that the water breaks, they actually, with their little bony head, can put pressure on the cord and cut off their own oxygen supply. And that is nothing anyone wants to see. Yeah. So cord prolapse yields to a very fast action, which is let's go to the OR and get this baby out. Yeah. Once in a while you hear about there was a cord, there was a baby that came out a minute after the cord. All right. It can happen.
Like a slip and slide.
It's like a slip and slide, right? Like the cord came and then, right, and then after, and that usually isn't with the first baby. Yeah. Right. It's usually like, it was baby number 4, she's like, her body has done it before and it was very fast. And it's like, all right, 30 seconds of cord compression. Okay. A minute of cord compression, maybe. Yeah. But with the first baby where the mom's not even dilated, you got to get that baby out.
For sure.
The other thing that could happen is that as the cord pulls, it can pull the placenta out with it. Yeah. And so now you have a placental abruption, which cuts off the supply to the baby too. So, and that's just a couple of the risk factors of polyhydramnios. And the babies are often born and they're just a little more compromised with their breathing because they had so much fluid to contend with in there. Yeah. And I think there's the mom side of it, there's the delivery side of it, and then there's the NICU side of it. Yeah. Because a baby who has all that fluid, who isn't able to breathe properly, isn't going to nurse properly and isn't going to thrive the way that we would expect a baby who didn't have that situation to thrive. So what happened after the baby was born? The baby was taken to the NICU, and what did those days look like for you, emotionally and physically?
Yeah, I mean, we were weirdly calm through the process. Like I said before, I just really trusted our team, and like I knew my baby was okay from the jump. And I think having, Dr. NICU there explaining everything that was happening during the C-section to me was huge, because I felt like he was like, all right, here we go, here's this, he was explaining what they were doing. And Abby was in there with me. She was, explaining everything to me, which gave me a lot of peace, because I was getting information as we go. I wasn't just laying there like helpless, like what's happening, is my baby okay, like the unknown. I had I had such a supportive team around me explaining what was going on. I obviously knew, how you just explained polyhydramnios, which was a beautiful explanation of it. We had a lot of those talks leading up to it with you and Naomi, just about the risks and what we were afraid of. And, obviously we started, the NST to kind of see if I was having contractions, just to really get ahead of it so we didn't have that happen.
And how the baby was tolerating all that water also.
Yeah, and my AFI was 40, and I think the normal range is like 5 to 20, the healthy range.
6 to 25 we're okay with. So yeah, you were really poly
really
for sure.
poly.
And the other thing that can happen with babies is that when they have that much fluid, it can actually cause malpositioning too. So now you have a situation where, is this baby going to be able to position and engage well in the pelvis, which we need for a good vaginal delivery? How big is this baby really? So what did they estimate and what happened?
So they estimated him the night before when I called you, like, girl, we're having this baby tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it called Naomi, and she's like, on her cruise, the baby's coming tomorrow. They said they're evicting him tomorrow. It's time. It's his eviction notice. They said he was 10 and a half pounds.
Right.
We all called it. We're like, he's like 8'5". Like, he's not 10 and a half.
He's not 10 and a half,
we're gonna be overcautious on this. So yeah, he was a big dude, and it was crazy because when I went in for my last ultrasound with Dr. NICU, he was like, you have an unstable lie.
Unstable lie.
Yeah. I was like, no, he's head down. He was like, no, he's head up. Look. And he showed me, and I always felt like 4 arms or arms and legs at the same time. I never felt everywhere. Like, a kick. I would feel like literally like the Nirvana baby, like this. Like, literally, I was like, he's happening? Moving so much, but because he was like in a swimming
pool. Like in every quadrant you were moving.
He was literally in every quadrant. I'd be like, oh my god, do you feel that? Do you feel like crazy? Wow. And yeah, it was like, then he had an unstable lie.
Yeah, because of that.
Saying that wrong.
Yeah, unstable lie. Because of all that fluid.
Yeah.
So think about like all of that water he had to do somersaults in.
Yeah.
And so it makes it hard to like engage into that pelvis. He's got all of this water. He's a bigger baby. So 8.5 pounds or so at 37 weeks is a big baby. He would have been, I mean, if we would have gone to 41, he would have been 10 probably. Or a little bigger. Big dude.
With a big head.
With a big old head, which we know he had. Big, beautiful head and big blue eyes. Yeah. And so he couldn't engage because he had all of this water and he had a big head. So there's like stacking risks now. You're like stacking the risks. So I think that after a good conversation with your maternal fetal medicine doctor, your OB, your midwife, the other midwife, and your doula, right? Because you actually had a doula at some point and you pivoted with her.
Yeah.
You decided that this is what we're most comfortable with, which is really epitomizes midwifery care. Is what is the benefit? What is the risk? What are the alternatives?
Yeah.
Is there an alternative here? Right?
Yeah.
Am I going to be induced or am I going to have a C-section? And help me understand both. Right? And then your intuition. You always told me, I feel like this baby is okay.
Yeah.
Even when he was in the NICU, you were like, he looked at me.
Yeah.
I knew that he was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about his like not getting out of there fast.
No, absolutely. Abby was above me. She was explaining what was going on. They brought him over to me, like put him cheek to cheek with me that moment.
Sweet.
I was like, oh my God, like I could cry all over again. But
it's
I'm like,
a great pic. She sent it to us.
Like it was just such a powerful moment. And it was just like, wow, like, thank you, God. Like this, thank you for this opportunity to be this little boy's mom. And my husband was with him and they took him up to the NICU, and I just had this like peace and knowing, like, I knew he was going to be okay. They told me, he had a lot of fluid in his lungs. He's having a little bit of a hard time clearing it. We're just going to give him that extra support. And I was like, okay. And before that, I would never picture myself being so calm through that. But like, I just knew he was going to be okay. And he actually ended up staying in the NICU for 5 days, not because of the amniotic fluid. He cleared that pretty quickly within the first day, but because he was having a hard time regulating his blood sugar, which apparently is very common for either really small babies or really big babies.
Yeah.
And so that was, we kind of fell into this loop of
protocol practice.
That was a tough one for us. I had to like start leveling up because I just knew my baby wasn't sick. And I'm like, of course, if my baby is sick, I want nothing more than him to receive the best care. And those NICU nurses are like, they're the best. Yeah. But I just knew he was okay. I knew I had a big, beautiful, healthy baby, and I was just ready to go home with him. But
and he was trying to work it out.
Yeah, and he just, he just needed a little more time to regulate his blood sugar. And we were there, like, I was that mom, like, the same day up, you saw me walking around. They were like, you're supposed to be in your wheelchair. Protocol, so you're need to be in your wheelchair. And I was like, I feel great. Like, I'm gonna walk. They were like, do you need pain meds? Like, you just had major surgery. I'm like, I need to be with my son. Like, actually, that's where I need to be. Like, I didn't take any pain meds. But I was just so mentally determined. Like, I knew the love I would have for my son, but like, I couldn't even imagine once I saw him, like, all I wanted to do was be with him 24/7. And the NICU nurses were so nice. They ended up setting up a little recliner chair for me, put like these little walls up so I could just sit up there and like nurse him. And literally, I don't think at one point I didn't leave that chair.
I remember.
I had my catheter in. I was like, no, don't take my catheter.
I remember.
So I can sit here with my baby. Yeah. I don't even want to pee. Like, I just want to sit here with my baby.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to just be there with him and hold him and nurse him. And at first they were like, because you said, with severe polyhydramnios, you can have a hard time breastfeeding. Luckily, I got really lucky. He latched right away.
He had quite a latch. I remember watching him. And
right away.
Great milk supply too.
Yeah, great. We're still breastfeeding.
Amazing.
Plan to do it as long as possible.
Amazing.
Great milk supply. So I'm very fortunate. Yeah, just really like trusting my body. And I remember they being like, oh no, you can't breastfeed him yet. And I was like, no, I can. Like, I can. They're like, oh, we should wait for the lactation specialist. And I'm like, no,
I am the lactation
we're
specialist.
Good. I already took a class with Atoosa. We're good. I know all about this. Like, I'm actually know that my baby's gonna latch. Like, I'm confident. Like, we're good. And it was funny because even the NICU nurses, they were like, I thought they would kind of like have a hard time with my personality just because I'm very sure in myself, and like I'm very sure, and like I just really trust my mind and my body. And like before I was a mother, like, and even more so now, I'm like, we were born to do this. Like, we were born to birth babies. We were born to breastfeed. So like, respectfully, like, if I need help, of course I'm gonna ask for a lactation specialist, which they sent one the next day, and she was like, saw how he was feeding and like was like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, she's like, bye.
She literally like grabbed my boob, put his mouth, yeah, we're good. Like, we're all good to go. And he like
check that one off. Yep.
It was thank goodness. But I just remember going up there the first night, and I finally was able to hold him at 9 p.m. and I was like, the world just like went still, and I just laid with him probably for 12 hours. And they were like literally like pricking his feet and doing his blood sugar, like laying on me.
Because I came to visit you that next morning.
Yeah. And I was still there. And
you
Chad
were
was
there
like,
with your sister.
Get her to sleep. She won't sleep. And I think I went 3 or 4 days without sleeping.
Yeah, you were on that high.
But like that high of becoming a new mom, and like I just, my nurses downstairs, they were like, you gotta come, and like we gotta do your checkups, and like you're healing from a surgery too, and like you're never down in your room. And I was like, but my baby needs me, and like I need to be with him. And it's like, the mother intuition just kicked in, and like I was not worried about myself at all. And of course, if I needed that care, I would have definitely taken it. But I was like, I feel good.
If you felt feverish, or if you were bleeding like crazy.
But everything seemed normal. And you came and checked on me. Dr. Niku came and checked on me. Naomi came, and I was like, I feel good. And if I don't, I'll ask for help, So when we finally got him cleared, the whole blood sugar thing was a whole, we weaned him off the glucose. He was just getting like a sugar drip. Weaned him off of it. He like pulled right at the baseline of like their protocol, and they were like, we need to start it again. And I was like, no, like, he's good. I promise.
You really advocated for that.
I really advocated for myself. And I'm his pediatrician, Dr. Nancy Blumstein, she ended up calling them and was like, this baby is under my care. He's going to be just fine. Like, let him go. I'll see him tomorrow.
Shout out to the doctors.
She was great. She was really advocating for us too. And I know, they're just all doing their job, following the protocol that's in place. But we were so ready to go home. And that night, I'll just never forget. Like, we call them family date nights. We had our family date night last Friday, and we were sitting there and just talking about like our whole birth story. And I call it ours because like my husband was just really held it down to like such a good team, like even in this postpartum, like such a positive experience. And I think my postpartum doula and him, and just being surrounded by so much love has been obviously such a game changer in the whole process. But we were talking how that night when we brought him home from the hospital, it was my husband's birthday the day before, and then that was when they had to start him back on the glucose drip. So it was like a really tough day, and I had gotten a cake delivered to the NICU for him, and like with him and Arlo, and it said happy birthday daddy and Arlo, and so we like got to like sing him happy birthday, and my best friends came over, and it was just like my favorite memory, because like we got to bring our little boy home and like just be in our little love bubble and just be like, wow, we did this. Like we're home now. We just get to like grow our family, you know, and like just love our little family now, you know. It's great.
Such an incredible story. The reason why you are also under watch after the cesarean is that when the uterus distends that much, right, it's like way bigger than an average
for sure
uterus for that time, right? So after the surgery happens and it has to like go back to its original size, it just has to work that much harder because it was so distended.
Yeah, it was really stretched out.
It was really stretched out. So I think the fact that you didn't hemorrhage, and that you healed the way that you did was not only, we have to give props to your genetics. There is a genetic component of tissue healing, integrity of the tissue, just our overall constitution. Not everyone heals the same way. Not everyone feels the same way. So there's always those moms that were like, I had my C-section. I couldn't hold my baby. I felt like crap. I started running a fever. I was bleeding. We just don't know what it's going to look on every person. So as we look at you as a whole, the fact that you are able to go back to your exercise way sooner than is the protocol for going back really speaks to the fact that people are individuals.
For sure.
And we set up protocols for babies, for women, for people all over the place of what the parameter is and where we need it to be. But people are individuals. It's all so subjective. And the fact that your pediatrician came in and was like, hey, I know that's your protocol, but now this is on me. They're going to take their baby home. And she advocated for you. So you selected a team that would listen to your intuition as much as abided by their protocols and standard of care. And I remember I had a pediatrician, Dr. Eleanor Meyer, who has now been retired for a long time. When she was in medical school, women were only 10% of the graduating class.
Crazy.
Now it's about 50-50, or in some schools it's a little more actually for women doctors. But she would always say, well, Mrs. Benji, what do you think? And I was like, Dr. Meyer, this is what I think. Like, I know my child. And she'd be like, then we're going to go with that. Now, let me tell you what to look for. Let me tell you what I think. And then together we would collaborate on the care of this child. Because I birthed the child. I'm raising with the, I'm living with the child. I'm raising the child. Like, I know my kids in and out. So she always brought that in. And I think that your doctor was looking at two parents who are on it. You're not going to push the envelope.
No.
You're going to know if that baby is not waking up on time, not feeding properly, getting jittery, all the things that they told you about to look for, you're on top of. So there's just a magic to that level of care that I think your healing was also because of. You healed that way because you were heard. You were seen and you were honored by a team who knew you. Knew you. And so many times within this broken medical system, we don't know who we're working with. We just don't know. So we put on these parameters that actually don't really apply to the person who's in front of us. So it's a testament to this whole clinical scenario, which really is a success story. Tell me what you would have done differently if you could go back, deciding we want to conceive, or early pregnancy.
Nothing. I would change nothing, because I feel like it was my story and it was my son's story, and everything happened for a reason. And I made the choice when I had my baby, obviously even before he was going to be a C-section for home birth, that I just wanted my husband and my sister there, which I know for families is tough, and it's not that we didn't want them to meet him. Of course, he has the best family. I want everyone to meet him, but I just really wanted to protect my energy and my husband's energy. I have the coolest, chillest husband in the world.
He's wonderful.
He's so wonderful. And
really is wonderful.
I just really trusted the team around me. And I knew from the jump that birth is just so unpredictable, and things are gonna, baby's gonna choose how baby wants to come. So we talk about it all the time. We wouldn't change anything for the world because he wouldn't be here. And everything that we went through made us stronger and made us, more bonded, and we felt so held. We got to advocate for our baby. We got to really come together as a team in those early stages. And even being, I know this is a hot take, but being in the NICU, like, it was also a blessing because we got to learn from the best nurses, and just, it just really shows like the power of being positive and the outlook, because we were surrounded by the best nurses. They showed us all the tricks and trades, and nope, this is how you should feed him a bottle, and this is how you should change him, and how to swaddle. And obviously, like, you think right? But until you're there, you don't know. Until you have a baby and you're like in it, you're like, oh wow. And like my husband to this day, he's so positive too. And I really do think he's a huge reason of like why I am the way that I am, and being with him the last 13 years. Like, he is just, his outlook, he just never lets anything rattle him. He just stays so calm and so collective. And even when we told some of our family, like, his story, they were like, oh my God, that's so traumatic. I'm like, no, it wasn't traumatic. It was just a story. Let's not associate the word trauma with this story. There is trauma with other stories for sure. And I'm not, making any of those feel less than, because there is a space for those. Absolutely. And my friend just had a really, really traumatic birth. But for me, it was just a part of his story. And, we had a great team around us. We got to advocate for ourselves, and we got to make informed choices. And I wouldn't change anything for the world.
What would you say to that family whose plans completely changed, whether it was they wanted a home birth and it was a transfer, or it ended up being a scheduled abdominal birth, or it was a scenario that they were completely not expecting from plan A?
Just trust the process, and that like your baby will pick how he or she comes. Like, those words you told us, we held on for those. Aww. Like that was like, baby chooses. Wow. Baby chooses. And like that, I think what gave us so much peace in the process is like, I love control. Don't get me wrong. I'm a very type A person. You are the CEO and COO of 3 companies. So I'm
you
the
know
COO
when
and CFO of 3 companies.
Yes.
But like, I love control. I'm a very structured. I always joke around and this new mom life of mine, I say I'm a type A person, but I'm a type B mom. And because I'm just like, he's going to choose. Babies are some days are good days, some days are a little harder. Oof, yeah. Some days we sleep, some days we don't. And, like, he is setting the pace, and we just have to be fluid and go with it. Like, I could say, we're going to eat at this time and sleep at this time and do this. But, like, I've just trusted my intuition through the whole process. And I think that's why my postpartum has also been so weirdly great. Like, I have like the opposite of postpartum depression, which I'm again so blessed for.
Postpartum elation.
Yeah, I call it postpartum bliss. And I like, because I just feel like we're just going and we're just learning together. And even when we have hard nights, I'm like, you know what? It's a hard night, not a hard life, and we're going to get through it. And me and my husband come out stronger. And, next day the baby's happy and giggling. It's like, well, he's doing great. So let's not dwell on it, and let's, keep moving forward.
Producer Josh, can you Google how we can clone Alexis and just sprinkle her all around the world, the universe? We just need Alexis and Chad and Arlo energy everywhere. Really so everywhere. It is so powerful. What were some of your favorite postpartum foods?
Well, I had the most amazing postpartum doula. Solar Flora is her business name, but her name's Leanna Heidemann, and she cooked us the best foods. We had like a ginger bone broth chicken soup. That was amazing. What is it called? What's like the mung bean stew?
Oh, yes. It's like an
Kachari.
Ayurvedic. Yes.
Yeah. All of her foods were like Ayurvedic foods. Yeah. I truly believe like food is medicine. And me and my husband, we rarely ever get sick or have any health issues. And So that was so huge. Like she having someone cook for us and just deliver nourishing meals. And she was a huge part of our postpartum too. I had her the first 8 weeks, actually met her through Naomi, and she would just come over and just like teach us little tricks and stuff to how to navigate different things and how to burp in better and just different things. And having nourishing food was so important and so big for us. And just getting outside every day, moving our body. We love our family matcha walks. It's like actually a religion for us at this point.
So
like
sweet.
Every day we're so busy.
What are you, 3 p.m. people or mid-morning?
Mid-morning.
Yes.
Yeah, we're mid-morning. Like after,
matcha run.
Yeah, we go out for our matcha walk and like we plan our day around it. Like we literally take it religion. And because we're both so busy, we're always on phone calls, Zoom meetings, all the things. Yeah. And like I've worked through my whole postpartum, which wasn't ideal, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the best of it. You know, I'm lucky to be able to provide for my son and give him a nice life and have this much responsibility that like I have to keep doing this. You know, I would have loved a little bit more to lean into like just
not doing much,
turn off, but maybe with the next baby.
Maybe that was plan B too, right?
Yeah,
all those
but like,
things. Yeah,
just getting outside, moving our body was huge. You know, just still taking like prenatal vitamins, just really nourishing my body. Like every morning I wake up and I like do my bone broth latte with collagen and like get cacao, and like I do it religiously because I'm like I gotta get like good nourishing right into my body, especially breastfeeding, like staying hydrated, like coconut water. Our postpartum doula made us like lactation brownies, lactation cookies, all like the best things. So we were so held and supported, and like having that nutritional aspect was huge and so important to me because
absolutely huge.
I'm such like a believer that, you know, that food is medicine.
100%.
So that is really, really great.
That is not a myth.
Yeah.
It's funny because when people ask me like, I don't really know what a postpartum doula does, because there really is so much almost confusion about what's a newborn care specialist, what's a nanny, what's a night nurse, what's a postpartum doula. And we talked a lot about it with the episode with Catherine Auger, who's a postpartum doula trainer. But I always say, and this kind of reminded me of that, imagine you have an Aunt Sally. Aunt Sally lives in a different state and she's had lots and lots of babies. And she's carved out this time, because her babies are older now, to come and help you during the postpartum period. Aunt Sally does a little bit of housework, like she'll wash a couple dishes and she'll throw in some laundry. She's not going to mop your floors or do your windows or clean your toilets. She can help change your sheets. She can teach you how to bathe the baby because she's had all these babies, right? And she makes really yummy, healing postpartum food. And she goes home when it's time to go home. So she doesn't get in your business and she doesn't give you advice. She just can show you little tips and tricks on how to make the postpartum period better. And people are like, sign me up. That's exactly what we're looking for.
I tell everyone, I'm like, get a midwife and get a doula for your birth, and absolutely get a postpartum doula. Like, save the money now because it's worth every single penny. And like, all my friends that are pregnant, I like tell them, I'm like, I swear by this. Like this, I think was because you're just navigating all this newness. You know, you're sleeping in 2 to 3 hour increments.
For sure.
One thing that me and my husband did is we took like shifts in the beginning. So like I could get a little bit more sleep and recover. So like he would do, you know, I would pump and give him a bottle for the first feeding. So he'd take like midnight, and then I could sleep from like 9 to 3. More, and like, honestly, that's a good game changer.
It's such a good hack.
It was like, but just
we talked about that in the breastfeeding class. It's such a good hack. I love that hack.
It was a good hack. And because also like you are just operating in like that survival mode that first few weeks. You're learning all this
alternate universe.
This little tiny human who needs so much from you, and having that postpartum doula, she would come in, she would like, how are we doing? She'd be like, I feel like you need like an ayabaya massage. Is somebody saying that correctly? She would do like little, you know, massages, or like a foot soak. She, you know, fold some laundry, wash some bottles. If he was like a little, you know, fussy, she'd be like, have you tried grape water? Grape water, game changer.
Which
in our
ones you
household.
like?
We have the like organic Mary's Ruth, I think it's called. Like game changer for like little stomach aches and stuff like that. So she just taught us like cool little things. And I just remember one time she put my baby in the carrier and gave me a massage. I'm like, yeah,
That
she's a
is
real, like,
so
she's for, like,
sweet.
you and Naomi, like, she's always in my circle. Like, I can call her a friend now. Like,
Oh, I love that
it
so
was
much.
such a great experience. At 8 weeks, I literally, like, cried. I was like, I don't want you to leave. Like,
I love that
I
so
loved hanging out
much.
with her, too.
Oh,
Like, she's such
so
a cool
sweet.
person.
I actually have a picture of you and Chad and the baby in my office.
Aw.
And I feel like it radiates positivity. So whenever I need to just smile or take a breath, I'm like, those are my people right there. I love you right back. Can we have you back on the show, please?
I would love
we
to
have
come
so
back.
much to talk about.
I
want to spend like a week with
I would
Alexis.
love to come back. I love being a mom. I feel like, so many people feel like they lose their identity in motherhood. I feel like I found my identity in motherhood. Like I feel like there's no better role than like being a mom. And like, as crazy as the day are with all the companies, like I always just, I'm like, you know what? Like I'll like be on a Zoom call and I'll be like, my baby will be crying. I'll be like, sorry, gotta nurse my baby. Hold on a second. And like, I'll literally like stop.
Priorities.
And I'm like making it a priority in like the corporate world too, to be like, no, I'm gonna take care of my son and like just really show up for him. And like, I've just loved this new chapter.
That's where change begins.
It's just been such a blessing. The whole process, honestly.
What an amazing conversation. I just think Alexis brings so much light and positivity wherever she goes. Her birth story is incredible. Started out as a planned home birth and things really had to pivot. And I love the way that her and Chad stayed grounded and really explored their options and felt supported by their midwife team, their OB team, even had a doula in the room as we got prepared for the cesarean section, and how she navigated her own intuition with advice being given in the NICU and ultimately was able to bring her beautiful baby boy home. That's it for this week. Thanks to Alexis for coming on the show, and thanks for listening. If you'd like to support Mamatoosa, please subscribe or review us, and be sure to check out my newsletter, Mamatoosa Monthly. Mamatoosa is hosted by me, Atoosa Benji, and produced and edited by Josh Stretton Carlson. Our theme music is composed by Mehri Lalazarian. If you'd like to support the show, please follow and review us on Spotify and Apple, or subscribe and like us on YouTube. This show is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider when making medical decisions. See you next Tuesday.